Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon to my fellow panelists. Just a quick introduction to them. We have Daniel Squires, CCO at ADSS, Alfonso, from CMO at EXNESS, Marc, Head of Sales, EMEA, Pepperstone, Yusuf, Chief Sales Officer at CPT Markets. I'll start telling you a little bit, a small thing about myself. Officially, my role revolves around business development, strategy, growth, all that terminology. Unofficially, my role is to stare for hours at dashboards and start asking uncomfortable questions. So apologies in advance if I do this now. So to start with the topic today, we see some statistics, especially in the MENA region, about brokers related to a relatively small percentage of customers generating the biggest percent of volume, P&L, whatever you want to call it. And we all always say that we treat all customers the same. All customers matter, but maybe some matter more than others for the P&L. So getting into this, we'll discuss this and related topics. We'll cover how to deal with such percentages, how big the impact is, and how to predict such things and how to deal with it. So, and to start with, on the trader segmentation and value concentration, Daniel, if it's a small percentage of customers generate a big amount of the business, what is it that a broker can do to identify them ahead of time, to predict which customers they are, so that it's not too late when this happens to them?
Thank you. So this is a really interesting question because everyone would sort of, in theory, want large clients, right? Whales that could do loads of business. But I'm not sure fundamentally that is what a good business wants. And for me, the best way to always think about these things is to think like an investor or a financial analyst. You wouldn't want concentration risk in a business. You would value a business with a big chunk of its revenues coming from a tiny percentage of clients. You would value that more lowly. You could have challenges around how you deal with those customers. Are you bumping up against risk limits? Can you monetize their flow? Would they have unrealistic expectations? So it's quite nuanced because sort of as a sales or a business development guy, you would never want to say no to business, kind of obviously. But I would much rather have thousands of small clients than a small number of big clients. Specifically to your question, the way that we would do it is, there might be some correlation between funding amounts and future trading activity. We might look at demographic information about a person or Etihad Credit Bureau information. You might be able to see what their salary is or where they work. So in a world of big data, you're probably going to have a pretty good stab at who a high-value customer is going to be before they've even traded once. Because there'd be sort of supportive information that could lead you to that conclusion. And then, exactly as you say, it's about dashboards and being led by the data. So if a brand new customer pops up that you know very little about, and you suddenly see high volumes or very high frequency of trades or big ticket sizes, whatever it is, that should be popping out of some kind of dashboard. And the way that I try and run everything commercial is on a sort of exceptions reporting basis. I'm not interested in normal, everything's on track. We don't need to spend our time on that. We need to look for the outliers. And so an outlier could be a big new customer, and you would hope to spot them quite quickly.
Thank you, Daniel. Alfonso, if this is the case with brokers, should they really attempt to treat all customers the same? Is that a mistake they're doing?
I think that there are two kind of conversations. The first one is, and I absolutely agree with his comment, is the consumer segmentation by revenue attribution. A healthy environment should not concentrate on a small percentage of consumer high or big revenue chunk on the P&L. I saw some brokers where like 3, 4, 5, or 6% of the consumers, they generate almost 70 or 80% of the revenue. That's extremely risky because a small amount of consumers, they are concentrating too much the revenue of the company. So you need to play a matrix between how to control risk from a geographical expansion point of view and from a consumer segmentation. Although you cannot just put value versus volume, otherwise your operational cost, customer service, etc., it will go to the roof. So the first step is you need to find the right balance between the revenue allocations by segment of consumers. On our case, we develop internally different tools where above the line we can almost detect with 60 to 55 to 60% of accuracy what is going to be the profile of the consumer, and based on that you go into the different cycles where you finally understand the final value that they are adding to the overall P&L. So this is important because you can make the mistake to over-concentrate revenue into a small bucket of customers. How you attract these customers? First, product. I think that we are moving into a extremely... We are becoming a commodity. All the brokers are talking about the same topics. All the brokers are making the same communications, but only the small group of hardcore traders, they understand the difference. So you need to position yourself on the key drivers for the consumers to choose your broker. Is always connected with the quality of your product and the product conditions. You need to generate this product superiority. This is step number one. It's going to generate better acquisition, it's going to generate better retention, and it's bulletproof for the long term of the consumer. So I think that talking about volume versus value is a quite deep conversation, in my opinion, to keep a healthy P&L and a good growth, because at least ourselves, we think 10 years ahead, right? So we want to build the EXNESS that is we want to create the foundations of the EXNESS for the next 10 years. And for that, I think that the risk diversification is extremely important.
Great, thank you. You mentioned actually retention. That's very important about retention. We'll come to that in a bit. Marc, again, about the same topic. Like if you identify a small percentage of clients generating a big amount of the business, would you tailor or customize services to them different than others?
Hi, everyone. The answer is yes. The how we do it and how well we do it, obviously, is very, very important. But I think back to the things we discussed before is we obviously try to identify potential high-value clients as quick as possible. I know we talked about AI, the old school kind of lead scoring we had 10 years ago has kind of evolved a lot into AI, and now with all the data we've got and the amount of clients we've got, we're able to really identify clients. Sometimes we know they're high value even before they start trading, which is a great opportunity for us and a great challenge for us to be able to service this client differently. So yes, we do try to service this client differently. I think the obvious answer is every client is different, but high value clients, I think, have different expectations and different level of trading services than they want. I think if you look at the more kind of beginner, new traders, it's really into simplicity, access to education, access to something easy to use and quite interactive. With experienced client, high value clients, I think it's very different. Most of the time it's custom needs, it's different trading conditions, it can be separate pricing, it's a different level of service that they expect from us as well. So at Pepperstone, we're focusing a lot on this kind of premium, high value very active clients, and that's really our bread and butter. So some things we do, if you've seen our booth, for example, we sponsor Aston Martin Formula One, and something we do for very high value clients is also take them to F1 experiences. That's something that we do, and I think works really well. Everyone offers trading platforms. The service you offer and these little extra perks you can offer to high value clients sometimes goes a long way. So to answer your question, yes, treating clients differently is very important, but it's just catering for their needs, which I think are very different if they're trading yards a month or just a couple of lots. So yeah, that's obviously a big challenge.
Interesting, thank you. Yusuf, speaking also about the segregation of such type of, if we talk about the marketing part of it, if you identify segments, like Alfonso was mentioning about the message and the same message by different brokers, would you allocate separate budgets for this type of clients, and how would you split it? Based on what?
Good afternoon. If I have to split my budget among the clients, and it has to be segregated among the segments, because not all clients are same, and not all clients have the same revenue generation ability. So we would focus, say, 60 to 70% of our budget to retain and grow our high-value client base, which matters the most. Because if you lose one client, which is generating a big revenue, it can, 1,000, let's say, hundreds of other small traders cannot match that revenue gap. So certainly, we need to treat the clients in the way they are, because high-value clients are not interested for your bonuses, for your campaigns, promotions. They are more interested towards the execution, the liquidity, their P&L, their withdrawal and deposit swiftly, and they don't like to be like a ticketed people. So they need fast support. They need a touch of human, like a very quick, responsive support team. So in that scenario, we need to empower our teams, that is sales, operations, support, because they experience the company as a whole and not a different departments. That's how we should progress in this regard.
Thank you. Speaking about retaining clients, the retention, a lot of brokers try to increase the engagement of their clients so that the retention is higher. Daniel, in your opinion, what's the main driver or different drivers for engagement? Is it product design? Is it the conditions? Is it the commercials of products?
I kind of feel it's all of those things. You might even start earlier than that. So there has to be a kind of golden thread that runs through everything. So when a potential client sees some marketing information and then they come to the website or they come to the app, is that consistent with what they're expected to see? Is that consistent with what they think that ADSS offers? And then the experience, let's say the UX or the UI, that obviously has to be good, because like my personal view is we live in an age where attention spans have never been shorter. We're all busy on our phones. Everyone's scrolling, clicking, swipe left, swipe right, whatever it is. No one's got the attention for or the appetite for clunky experience. And that would definitely drive churn or reduce engagement if your product or your app doesn't work properly. So that's non-negotiable. Then more subtle points. So to kind of link your previous question, one thing we do is we offer high-value rebates, which is just basically cashback, right? So that would probably drive engagement if people are very active and they effectively get a monthly cashback. That's probably a helpful thing to engagement. I'm minded to say that there's huge value in well-designed loyalty schemes, and you have to tread a bit carefully from a regulatory point of view, but the word would be gamification. So if you can design in rewards, streaks, prizes, coins, points, whatever it is, everyone has their own flavor of it, that is somewhat proven to drive engagement and probably to extend client life cycle. The final thing you might say is someone's going to be more engaged and if they're making money. And one of my pet themes within ADSS is I just constantly get all the teams to focus on making money. FOMO. Why is anyone trading or investing? Fundamentally, they're probably doing it because they think they're going to make money. They're going to grow their wealth. So let's focus on that, I think you could do a whole session on engagement. It's such an interesting topic, and it's super important. I know we'll come on to this because the customer acquisition cost in our industry is quite high relative to the client value. So avoiding churn and keeping people engaged is not just a good thing to aim for. It's actually fundamental to the maths of probably of all of our businesses.
Right. On engagement also, Alfonso, and what's your input first?
Well, I think that on our industry there are two things that are interesting. First, big focus on acquisition, and as I say before, moving into quite of a commodity environment, and not a lot of focus on retention. That, in my opinion, is one of the key elements. How you generate retention and how you extend the active trading dates and the overall lifetime value of the consumers that my colleague was mentioning. First, financial brands are totally different than any other brands because you are putting your money, you are putting your savings, you are putting like something that is becoming an element for the future. So the whole product ecosystem, the whole trading ecosystem is extremely important for retention. To have the best trading conditions in the market, to be sure that the stability of the platform generates this trust. Also, instant withdraw, be sure that the money of the consumers, they feel extremely comfortable. They know that their money is theirs, period. All these things generate this retention. Also, you need to very clearly define the cycles of the consumers from the early life cycle to the different cycles. Like there are different touch points from traffic web to registration, from registration to FTD, from FTD to first trade, from first trade to the moment that they stop trading. All this journey of consumers has to be very well defined. In my opinion, and I at least ourselves, we have a slightly different strategy. We know that at least 40% of the consumers that they are getting only cashback from the operator, they are more open to change and try other brokers when the product of the platform is not good enough for them. So it's what we call the champagne effect. You retain the consumer, adding an extra element that is the cashback. That I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that. But then in the mid-long term, when they try other brokers with a more stable or with better conditions, it generates this retention in the long term. So I think that the overall trading ecosystem, what you offer to the consumer from a pure trading point of view, becoming almost like a boutique broker, is what generates this long-term view. That I don't disagree with any cashback. I'm not saying that this is wrong. What I'm saying is like there is this kind of champagne effect that if you don't combine that with other elements, maybe in the long run things won't work.
Thank you. Marc, also on broker clients trying other brokers or not sticking with their broker, like losing retention. What do you see as the main reasons for clients moving to other brokers? They can be moving to you as a broker, but what do you see the main reasons?
I'd love them to. Obviously, we all have the same, I think, challenge as first. It's a very competitive market, especially in the Middle East. We see brokers and new brokers setting up every month and every year, and the competition is big. I mean, just see how many brokers are around here. Clients have the choice to choose broker. And I think what makes the big difference, and the word we work a lot, and the concept we work a lot on, is trust. Clients and everyone, all in the room here, we all want to make money when we invest and when we trade. So we need to trust that the broker, the people we put our money in, is actually going to help us and not going to play against us. And I think this concept is really important. So everything we do with the product that we offer and the service we offer to clients is to show that, yes, we can be trusted. And in good times, so when you make money and things go well for you, trading conditions don't change, margin don't change, leverage don't change, your swap don't change, and you're still getting the same feels as you often do. And when things go wrong, when markets go a bit crazy, we've seen some crazy moves in the last month. So when things go wrong, is my broker still quoting? Am I being rejected when I trade? Are spreads going crazy? Yes or no? And I think that's key, is being able to demonstrate that clients can continue to trade with you and consistently benefit from the trading conditions. So that trust element comes with spread trading conditions, but it's also the service we offer. I mean, you mentioned deposit and withdrawal. It's very basic, but is my money going to be back in my bank account in an hour, not in a week? And that's key. So all these kind of small things, I think it builds around, yes, can I be trusted? Can I make money with this broker? And if it goes wrong, is my broker going to help me? And that's really, I think the key is that word is trust, and what we work on a lot.
Thank you. Yusuf, again on the engagement and community. Community is becoming a buzzword for a lot of brokers. Does it really work for engagement, creating communities, whether on social media channels or whatever tool they're going to use? Does it really keep the clients engaged because they are part of a community?
Yes, certainly. But there are two aspects. When we talk about community, there are two types of communities. One, which we know as a social media, say WhatsApp, Telegram, and other channels, which is a one-way communication, where the people are getting signals or say trading ideas, and they are doing the things on their own. But that is not giving any result to the broker, because that is just one way, and if it fails, the client stops there, and he starts looking alternatives. But we talk about a second community setup, which is more focused, more human-natured. Like there are moderators, traders, be it a starter or an advanced level. They discuss the trading ideas. They discuss the storytelling in detail about their experiences, the pitfalls, and what needs to be done and what needs to be avoided. These kind of communities leverage more productive results. The clients stick to the broker for a much longer time, and we have seen this outturn with CPT markets itself. When the clients are joined through a community which is more personalized in approach, the retention we have seen has increased up to 30% in a quarter's time. So yes, this is how it should be, and we should be more focused towards the community-based setups rather than only one-way communicating through social media.
Can I just say one other thing about community? I used to sort of be of the view that there were enough communities in the world, right? And if you wanted to be in a community about trading, maybe it would be Telegram or maybe X or Reddit or something, right? So why would we try and build our own mini version of Reddit when Reddit exists? But I learned last week that over 70% now of the posts and the content on Reddit are from bots. And it's completely changed my mind on community, because I think there's a play here that's about trust and about knowing that you're in a community of real people. And that's increasingly hard to do, outside of your own environment, because so many of these posts are AI generated. You think you're reading advice from a real person on Reddit, you're not. So that's made a kind of in-house community for me more interesting. The other bit is about referrals, which might be about community as well. In my opinion, the best clients you're likely to get would be referred by an existing client.
Right.
Stickier, higher quality, and arguably cheaper to get.
Yeah.
I totally agree, big time. And I think that there is a transition. We are in a bit of a extremely noisy environment, right? And the human element, in my opinion, and especially from our side, the human element is the most important one. Not only from a communications point of view, but also on the way that you interact with the consumer. That's why ourselves, we made a big bet on the concept of the team pros, the EXNESS team pros, that are the face and the voice of the community, that they interact directly and on a real environment with the consumers. They know that they're real, they know that they are bulletproof traders. There is no kind of confusion with the AI generation of content, and the consumer is moving to a more pro-consumer approach, where like before the brands, they were communicating to the consumers and they were just digesting what we say. Now the consumer interacts directly with us. So this kind of community environment with top tier 1 world-class professional traders, I think that is a big element of the community, and I totally subscribe everything that Daniel said.
Community?
Yeah, I think a different approach that we're trying to take, and that's been interesting as well, is Pepperstone as a broker also trying to build our own communities as well. So we've seen some really interesting results where we're trying to put kind of lookalike clients together. So again, kind of smaller group, engaged clients, just more same network or same way of trading, and putting them together. And I think we've seen some great results of, instead of relying on us, clients start interacting together and supporting each other and helping each other, and us not really being present in the room or part of this conversation. And you've seen great results of, clients helping the strategies. As you know, and well, you know, trading can be very lonely sometimes, and engagement also, traders together and different clients of Pepperstone together has shown some really good results, and that's a very interesting way of doing things, building communities ourselves as well.
Anyone want to add anything?
Just one thing to add. Later, if we see the growth of this industry, we should be moving from cost per acquisition to the value per acquisition model. Because that is how it works. If you retain the client, and which adds value to the company, you will be in more profitable situation rather than acquiring bundle of clients together and they are leaving the company within 2 to 3 months. This is just adding up the cost, not creating any value. But if you focus purely on the retention, once the client is acquired, it will give certainly a good profitable balance sheet that the company deserves to. Thank you.
Thank you, Yusuf, and everybody. Very interesting discussion. We ran out of time quickly. It was a really interesting discussion. I hope my questions weren't uncomfortable. Thank you very much. We'll go back to our dashboards now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.